Hey all, this is another weekly video for piano, and it's kind of a mixture of music theory and what I've been working on. I've been putting a bit of time per week into piano. Not as much as I'd like to, but it is what it is, and I'm still getting it there bit by bit. So, and this has actually helped quite a bit with guitar. So, seventh voicings. So if you have a major scale, as you know, or with proper fingering, right? So if you harmonize these as sevenths, and again, I'm not sure exactly of the fingerings, but here's your C major seventh, and this right here would be your D minor seventh. This would be E minor seventh. This right here would be your F major seventh. This right here, G dominant, or G7. A major seventh, or what is it? 7 flat 5. Or no, that's a minor seventh right here. This is the B minor 7 flat 5, and then back. And in blues, of course, you make everything, dominant seventh. So in guitar, it's very handy to be able to do voicings as triads. So, you have the triads, all your inversions, and you have your major, minor triads, augmented and diminished triads, and those are really the only triads that you have in reality. Not every 3 notes on the keyboard is a triad. If I just pick 3 at random, it's not a real triad because it's not a major, minor, diminished, or augmented. But cool thing about sevenths is that you can voice any of your major or any of your seventh chords just using a triad, which is really handy in guitar because you can comp using these triads while the bass plays, the root. So if you drop the root of a triad, you have, of a seventh, you have a triad. So for instance, if we go here, it's a major seventh. If I was to drop the root and consider the third to be the root, well, that's an E minor. If it's a minor seventh and I drop the root, well, then you'll have a major chord, where this minor third is now the root. Likewise, this will give you another major. This will give you a minor. This will give you a diminished. Or, as this likes to say, it's a B minor flat 5, which is diminished because you're flattening the third and flattening the fifth. This will give you another major. This is a B minor 7 flat 5, which is, a D minor. So, you can play this perfect fourth here, or basically you can take this and this is the equivalent of playing, a power chord. So still a C, but you can make this a dominant seventh for blues. So, and the rules are, you know, if you have a major seventh and you drop the root, you'll have a minor chord. If you have a minor seventh and you drop the root and use the third as the root, you would have a major chord. A dominant seventh would become a diminished triad, and major flat five or minor flat five would give you another minor chord. And you know, you basically find that by just taking the third of whatever chord you're trying to find and using that as the root of the given triad. So if you give it any triad here, I'll just come up with one at random. So this right here, it's an E minor, so basically we know that this right here would give a C minor or major seventh. So that's kind of, you know, something that is much easier to see on the guitar, or sorry, on the piano than it is on the guitar. And it's really helped my guitar quite a bit, especially with the comping. I was able to go to a jam and pretty darn quickly comp, you know, seventh chords in jazz and blues of various types just by thinking, okay, where can I do a triad, and just letting the bass cover the roots. And you can also drop the fifth, and so kind of essentially, you know, if you could basically do tritones for everything in a dominant, it seems like. You know, you can drop the root and the fifth, and you'll just have, you know, the seventh left over, and the tritone essentially. Anyways, I'm going to be gone next weekend at a guitar Crossroads Guitar Festival. You know, Clapton, John Mayer, you know, all the great blues guitarists are going to be playing Santana. So what I'll probably post next week, since I'm not going to bring a piano with me, is a little bit of maybe ear training. Anyways, have a good weekend.